company whose products have had me really excited, and particularly with their CEDIA announcements, is Perlisten. Let's talk about what they had to show off. Alright, Perlisten Audio, an internet darling in the last few months. A lot of channels covering and talking about their products and speaking very, very positively about it. It's been a company that's kind of been brought into my radar because of that coverage, because of that publicity. A company that I've been paying a lot of attention to. And we'll be talking about it in a future what if kind of speculation video as well. But in any case, Perlisten came out big at CEDIA, significantly augmenting their product line, already nicely filled with two different lines of floor standing bookshelf speakers and subwoofers, now with the line of in-walls. So this company, their products, they look so tight, they look so solid, performance, build quality, all of it. I'm very, very drawn to what they're building, what they're making. And so to finally see a relatively deep in-wall line come out with the same drivers, the same quality, the same engineering as the floor standing line really has my attention. Almost makes me wish maybe I had held off a little bit before going full bore into the Focal 1000 speakers that I did for my theater, and then followed up with in my living room the 1000 IWLCR6s and other related smaller ones for the theater there. I think Perlisten is doing an awesome roadmap of products whereby they have kind of the in-wall line in different sizes and different driver sets, mimicking the in-room line and again sharing that engineering. It's great when an in-wall speaker can be built and designed and delivered at the level of quality and finish and all of that as the floor standing speakers or the in-room speakers that inspired them. The only thing that's missing that they didn't have, or they didn't show yet anyway, I would presume, is some type of overhead Atmos or round style speaker. I have to believe that they're working on it. It's basically the final step to complement everything else that they actually have announced and is now public on their webpage. How long it'll take to get those, I don't know. Without them, you could still take the smallest bookshelf and put those in a ceiling, I presume, and be good for a full Atmos array of Perlisten in-wall speakers. But a lot of folks generally kind of seemed to prefer, and other lines seem to design towards the idea of the rounds and some angle baffles and all of that. So we'll see what they come out with. Hopefully it's not a whole nother year wait to CEDIA next year. But my guess would be, just to toss it out there, maybe by about springtime, would be a reasonable runway to round out the remainder of the in-wall line and follow it up with a speaker specifically made for in-ceiling and overhead purposes. So I don't think we'll have to wait too long. I don't know what the MSRPs on all of these are. Perlisten is definitely kind of a premium brand, at least in the S series. There's some hefty price tags attached to those. The largest of their standing tower speaker is $10,000 a piece. The in-walls, you should conceive, should be a good bit less than that, because there's a lot of cost and effort and build time building a in-room cabinet, finishing, and so on, where an in-wall cabinet is an entirely different type of animal to actually assemble. So hopefully there's a really nice deep price reduction between an S7 in the floor stander and the S7 in the in-wall, but we'll see. So I have to say again, like most of the things that drew me to Focal as a brand, or how the Focal in-walls are shades, shadows of the in-room speakers. Perlisten is doing that as well, to the point where I kind of wish that these were out, because I think these speakers would have been very, very much in contention for me to build a room around. So hey, Perlisten, if you're listening, if you're watching, and you'd like to completely supplant Focal in a dedicated theater space and a high-end premium 2-channel listening space, call me maybe. I've generally loved the Focals that I have. The one thing that I think has been a little bit of a miss with them, and in the particular ones at least that I've seen and that I have measured, is that their measurements get a little squirrely. I don't know how much of that is particular in my room, because the ones in my living room and the ones in my theater tend to measure the same, and my heart sunk very deep into my chest the day that Aaron at Aaron's Audio Corner did his Focal 1000 series in-wall video, and kind of corroborated essentially what I was seeing in my measurements, reproducing it, some of the squirreliness in his. I would be very, very, very interested to see what a set of Perlisten in-walls does in my spaces, how they measure, how they perform, and all of that. If there is something superior to the design and build of that Perlisten in-wall, that S7 versus something like a Focal 1000 series. I'm game to try them out side by side. And I think one of the real interesting things about these speakers, just looking at some of the details and some of the specs, is that S7i is a 58-pound in-wall, drywall busting in-wall. I think one of the main challenges with in-wall speakers is containing, in a larger in-wall particularly, is containing sound without cabinet, right? Without that heft to provide a stabilizing effect. And so I think that's where a lot of in-walls kind of get squirrely in their in-room performance, in their actual performance, in their measurements, and not being so flat in reality. And so I really, really wonder, with nearly 60 pounds of heft behind a speaker like that S7i, what does that do for measurements? Does that help, especially in a larger in-wall with many drivers, right? With a handful, several drivers in that thing. Is that really what it takes to like lock down the reproduction of that sound and keep that thing, you know, ruler flat? A Focal 1000 IW LCR6 by comparison is a 30-pound speaker, just under 30 pounds. So twice the weight, twice the heft, twice the bracing, and I would be so interested to have those speakers side by side and be able to really kind of compare and contrast and dub a champion between them. And of course, the materials that Perlisten chooses are right up there. Beryllium tweeters, very, very heavily engineered tweeter and mid-range, carbon fiber drivers and all of that, speakers that just, drivers and all of that just looks beautiful, designs that look beautiful. You don't want to put grills on them. Again, company I'm super excited about, just banging out new product after new product, winning awards, and I think what seems to be rightfully so. So a brand I'll be watching very, very closely and considering as my needs and my rooms and my home theater and AV situation evolves. And again, Perlisten, if you catch this video, reach out. I think we could do some interesting stuff in my spaces with your speakers. Thanks so much for watching. Sound off in the comments. Let me know. Have you bought Perlisten speakers, subwoofers, etc.? What do you think about them? Are you excited for this in-wall line? Share your situation. Share your experience. And again, particularly if you're a customer, you're using these speakers, you bought them, what do you think? Detail it all in the comments below. Otherwise, please do all the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Leave those comments, even if it's just a thumbs up and a thanks. Super valuable to the channel. And if you want to do more direct support so that Jeremy can try out a round of Perlisten speakers, there are multiple ways to support the channel below as well. Super thanks, channel memberships, Amazon affiliate links, and more. Thanks so much for watching. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.